Hello. Robotic affirmations, affirming, conscious auto-suggestion. How do we do it better? And why the heck are your robotic affirmations not working in the way that Sammy Ingram and these other influencers say they will? Today, we're going to answer some of those questions, as usual, when we talk about affirmations. If you don't know who I am, my name is Tim Grimes, and at least in the English language, I've probably spent more time talking about Emile Coué, the father of, you could say, modern affirmations. Probably spent more time talking about him and editing his work than anybody the last 20, 25 years that I know of. I wish there were more people talking about him, but there are not. And in this video, I'm gonna share with you a few things about affirmations, specifically robotic affirmations, because it's such a popular topic, and why there's a good chance you're doing them wrong, and a few helpful resources you can turn to that can make it so affirmations are more fulfilling for you, and also other avenues you can explore if you don't want to do affirmations. Because here's one of the ironies, guys. I'm not a big affirmer. Never have been. Yet, as if you're familiar with my channel, you know, Emile Coué is still my favorite law of attraction manifesting type of teacher, because he explains the underlying psychology of why things, quote unquote, manifest or demonstrate for us, or why they do not, how our imagination works. He explains it better than anybody who came after him, in my opinion. He explains better than Neville, Abraham Hicks, Joe Dispenza, any of these more popular teachers, let alone someone like Sammy Ingram. And, someone like Sammy has their place. When I first discovered Sammy, I was really excited. I was like, oh, wow, here's someone who really can explain the power of repeating something over and over and over again well in a unique modern way. That's the virtue of Sammy. Sammy has a lot of less virtuous qualities, as we've discussed before. And for all you Sammy fanboys and fangirls out there, just understand that my comments are now off. And one reason they're off is because most of you have no idea how affirmations work, and you are listening to a lot of nonsense online. And Sammy, for all of her virtues, spews a ton of nonsense and toxicity. And Papa Bear Tim is done dealing with you dummies. If you understand what Coué is talking about and what his wonderful protege Charles Baudouin is talking about in his masterful book, Suggestion and Autosuggestion, you will start to appreciate affirmations and how we are always suggesting things to ourselves more and understand it in a much more holistic way. But the reason that so many of you, despite the fucking bullshit hype that is mainly lies, the reason so many of you fail with your robotic affirmations, especially consistently for big things you want, like relationships, health, money, etc., is because force is always overpowered by the imagination, as Emile Coué explained so well, and as Charles Baudouin expanded upon so well in his book. So the only type of force you want to be using when you are affirming something over and over again is the force to initially do it, if you want to even call that force. If you are robotically affirming a lot, that means that you simply are saying a phrase or maybe a few phrases a lot, or maybe just one word a lot. And that should be the extent of your force. Because your willpower, or your force, they're synonymous for how we're using it here, is always going to be overrun by your imagination. So if you're saying, for instance, like, he now loves me, he now loves me, he now loves me. And by the way, I very rarely recommend people make affirmations like that. You want your affirmations, generally speaking, to be self-directed, self-concept oriented. Like, I love myself, I am full of love. Not he loves me, she loves me. That's a bad recipe. But if you make an affirmation like that, and you're thinking about it actively, that's actually going to hinder you probably, unless by thinking about it, by saying it, you're lulled into kind of a hypnotic state where you start thinking positively about it. What often happens, what might be happening to you, is you're thinking something like, or affirming something like, he loves me, 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 he loves me. And you might be doing this for an hour or two a day even, or more longer than that sometimes. The problem is the thought that's happening after you say that, or a lot of the time, is that this isn't happening. He doesn't actually love me. This is fucking nonsense. Something along those lines. That's what screws you up. What Coué and Baudouin make very clear is that whatever you are suggesting, you want to suggest it in a way that just rhythmically feels fresh and alive and real to you. So if he loves me doesn't feel fresh and alive and real to you, then you're going to want to modify what you're saying to yourself. And this is why doing self-concept oriented affirmations, one of the reasons why it's much better to do it that way, because it's much easier to control how you feel or how you regard yourself than to control or regard how you feel about somebody else, right? Or at least to work on that. But this concept that you are going to say something over and over and over again and then it's going to happen is not a case of the repetition in and of itself doing it. It's a case of your mind, your imagination, slowly taking to the idea. You can say something once, and if your mind takes it, it's going to be more effective than saying something 10,000 or 100,000 or 1,000,000 times that the mind does not take. It's about your self-suggestibility and what you believe. And at this point, we have over 100 videos on this channel. I'll put the playlist above. I'll also put the playlist in the description on the teachings of Emile Coué, relating it to Sammy Ingerman Robotic Affirmations. And really getting to the meat of what this stuff is about. Because there's a lot of stuff that Sammy explains well, but the majority of it she does not. And let me be blunt, I explain it better. At least 90% of the time, for 90% of you. If you want to get real about this, you want to learn how affirmations or any kind of LOA technique you do is about cultivating a sense of it happening or it is going to happen. Or if you want to use Neville language, it already has happened. Because all that, whatever you're saying, is in the present right now. And if you cultivate a sense of expectancy, positive expectancy, it is very likely that what you want to happen will happen in some shape or form. Not always exactly like you think, but energetically there will at least be some kind of shift where you feel better about the situation. Now, does this sound nearly as glamorous as the way Sammy talks about it? No, but it's also the fucking truth, so I don't care. And someone like Emile Coué was able to help tens of thousands of people by sharing this very simple type of approach. And you can do it. But if you want long-term success, you have to dive in deeper. And that's why I recommend, frankly, it's why I recommend coaching. If you're interested in that, link is in the description. But it's why I also really recommend, in the very least, studying what Coué is talking about, studying what Charles Baudouin is talking about, and realizing that this is much more about feeling in flow when you're affirming. Feeling relaxed and slowly building that sense of expectancy. Slowly implanting the idea in your life in a relaxed manner. So even if you are affirming for multiple hours a day, and again, you don't have to, but even if you are, you're doing so in a relaxed manner where it's just, you're kind of almost lulling yourself with this statement until you start believing it more and more and more. If you're interested in some of Charles Baudouin's incredibly nuanced suggestions, I have a short PDF that I just created via ChatGPT, because Baudouin's book is very confusing to people who are not... it's a tough book to read, to be blunt. Emile Coué's work is not tough to read. Self-Mastery Through Conscious Autosuggestion by Emile Coué is a book every one of you should read, in my opinion. Or my companion book that I edited of Coué's teachings called Simple Self-Healing. Those books are very easy to understand. But if you want kind of a short summation of the main points that Baudouin makes in suggestion and auto-suggestion to make your affirmations and robotic affirmations more effective, you can simply contact me at the link in the description or email me at info@radicalcounselor.com. I will send you a PDF of some of Baudouin's suggestions. Yeah. If we understand why robotic affirming actually works and stop listening to all the bullshit online and all these people who really do not have an idea of why it really works, and start following the advice of Coué more, you're going to like not only this technique more, but you're going to like these manifesting concepts more and understand them in a more gratifying way. That's what I try to provide people. It's hugely important over the long run, because here's the thing, guys. You can robotically affirm and get something, but then you're going to want something else. Life doesn't end just because you robotically affirm and manifest a certain thing. In reality, it's not like, oh, I've manifested certain things in my life. It's like, no, you're manifesting your fucking life right now. Everything is a manifestation. That is why Coué said his most famous, affirmation auto-suggestion, one of the most famous auto-suggestions of all time, is every day in every way I'm getting better and better. Because really we want to get, quote unquote, better and better in every way, every day. Because that's how life actually is. It isn't just about getting an SP back or a certain car or a fucking text message or all this immature nonsense. If we take this stuff maturely, the way Coué and particularly Baudouin talked about it, it can change our lives. If you want that free Baudouin PDF, email me. I'm putting a link below to another video where I talk about some of these fascinating concepts. Until next time, enjoy.